Why do you want to work with us? What is your greatest strength? What are your weaknesses? Why should we hire you? Why did you leave your previous job? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So these are some of the questions that you may expect in an interview apart from self-introduction. So this is what we will be discussing today. I'm Shibin, Assistant Professor of English with Devahini First Grade College, Tumukuru. Here we go. Why do you want to work with us? Or this question may appear in a different manner. Like for example, why did you decide to apply for this position? So when this question is asked, our immediate reaction is to think of the monetary benefits, right? So we say, it's all about money. I'm passionate about being well paid. Now, this may be the fact, but you're not supposed to be too honest here in this scenario. So instead, your answer should be of this kind, wherein you speak about a few facts. You may speak about your experience, your expertise, right? So which will fit into the job. That's what you will be speaking about. I came across this job through website X. X is going to be an example for the website you have come across the advertisement from. And thought I would be a great fit. Besides, my previous experience with X, Y and Z suits the role, and I'm pretty sure I can help the company achieve its goals. Hence, I'm super excited to be part of your team, right? So this is when it comes to a person or a candidate who is having certain years of experience, right? What if the candidate is going to be a fresher? That's when he will have to highlight his skills and expertise, right? Yeah, that's about the first question. Moving on, what is your greatest strength? So when this question is asked, you are not supposed to be exaggerating things. Let us be speaking about what our strengths are, right? What are our strengths are, we will be speaking about them, and your strength should always be relevant. What do you mean by relevant? It should always match the role you are applying for. It should always be related to the role or position you are applying for. Okay, suppose I'll give you an example. If you are applying for the post of a content writer, the qualities or the strengths you should be having are creativity, communication and teamwork, right? But at the same time, you are well versed in coding, right? So do you have to speak about coding here? You don't have to speak about coding. Why? Because this doesn't go with the role you are applying for, right? Coding has nothing to do with content writing. So make sure whenever you speak about your strengths, make sure you relate it with the job you are applying for. And the important fact is, whenever you try to speak about your strength, make sure you support your strength with facts and proofs. Like for example, you may say, during my college days, I was well versed in in English, or you may say, I was good at content writing and I was creative in my writing skills. So I was the first one, or I was the first choice of my teaching fraternity. Whenever they wanted to host a program, I was the first choice, right? So this is how I prove myself that I had certain experience during my college days. Even if I'm a fresher, I speak about the fact that I'm good at creative, I'm good at content writing, and my strengths are creativity, communication and teamwork. Moving on, the next question is, what are your weaknesses? So this is a tricky question that you will have to answer with utmost care. Why? Because if you say, for example, my greatest weakness is that I'm very nervous about public speaking, and you don't proceed anything or you don't say anything extra, or for example, you say, I'm very bad at communication skills. I'm not confident. I have stage fear. When you say that, you acknowledge the fact that you have, you are a failure. And do you think the company will hire you at any cost? No, they are not going to hire you because you are not taking any efforts, or you are not working on your weaknesses and limitations, right? So that should not happen. So whenever you speak about your weakness, you start with your weakness, but when you speak about them, the weakness should ultimately end up with a strength, or it should become a strength end of the day. That's how you have to speak. I have an example here. Let me read it. My greatest weakness is that I'm nervous about public speaking. However, I started working on it. Very important. You're trying to convince the interviewer that you're taking some efforts to overcome your weaknesses, right? I started working on it ever since I was humiliated for not being confident enough to speak my mind. You may also speak about an experience that you had, an experience where you were humiliated, right? Suppose you want to say, during my college days, I wanted to ask my doubts which I had in my mind. I used to raise my hand, but my brain sits down. So this is where I went wrong, and students who used to sit with me laughed at me, right? So, but I always believe that time heals all wounds and never gave up working on my limitations. Today, I'm glad that I'm into a profession that lets me speak my mind freely and confidently in public. See, I started with speaking about my, negativity, but I ended up saying that it has become a strength. So indirectly, you should, transform your weakness into a strength, right? So that's how you will be answering when such a question is asked.